hand if you've ever had to pretend to like something for the sake of your relationship. Same. It was me when I first got together with my husband, Jeff, who, as you can maybe tell from this picture, is a bit of a Michigan superfan. Does anybody remember, I saw somebody in the back, yeah, go blue. Anybody remember the Jimmy Fallon, Drew Barrymore movie from several years ago called Fever Pitch, where her boyfriend was a completely different person during baseball season? Well, that is my husband, Jeff, except it's football season. And we got together in 2008, right at the beginning of the Rich Rodriguez era. And I went with Jeff to so many Michigan football games at the big house, but I think I've probably seen Michigan play football in close to 15 states at this point, all over the place. And like many fans, he was so excited when Jim Harbaugh came back to coach the Michigan Wolverines. And we had been trying for a while to get pregnant, and when I finally was able to share the good news, and he said, "This is amazing. So when's the baby gonna be born?" And I'm kind of doing the math on my fingers, and I said, "September." And he said, "Conference season? You're having the baby right when conference season starts? We may not be able to go to as many games this year." And around that time, as we were starting to tell people that we were pregnant, the question that I got again and again and again was, what are you gonna do for your gender reveal? Which, at the time, this was before gender reveals were the sort of blowing up for us, try to go viral on social media spectacle that they've become. And I honestly didn't know. The first time a friend asked, I was like, what's a gender reveal? Don't they just tell you? Like, doesn't the doctor just tell you? It seems like that should be part of it. And all of my friends said, no, a gender reveal is something that you put on to let people know if you're having a boy or a girl. And I wanted nothing to do with it. I was like, unsubscribe. This seems like way too much work. I'm already making a person that feels like it should be enough. And my husband, Jeff, had a much better attitude about it than I did. He said, well, what if we had like a celebrity tell us if we were having a boy or girl? What if we were doing something really fun? And I said, you got any ideas for that? Because I sure don't. And he said, yeah, what if we ask Jim Harbaugh to do it? And I was like, we don't know Jim Harbaugh. We don't know anybody at the athletic department at the University of Michigan. And all I'm thinking is, great, now my husband's going to be disappointed when he doesn't hear from his hero, and my friends are still going to be asking me about this dumb party that I don't want to throw. But my husband said, well, what if we wrote a letter of intent? So we put together a letter of intent from the baby, filled it with all kinds of puns and fun shout-outs to the team, and put it in the mail with the little sonogram picture. And I thought for sure we would not hear anything back, so I asked the nurse for a duplicate of the sonogram picture, and I said, all right, we're gonna give this a week, and then I'm gonna open this envelope, because I was so tired of people asking me if I was gonna have a gender reveal party or not. And to my absolute shock, just a few days later, a note showed up in the mail. This is what it said. Baby Hodak, I have carefully studied the information from your mom and dad, Jeff and Brittany, and on behalf of the University of Michigan, I'm offering you a 2035 scholarship. Hopefully, with God willing and the creek not rising, I will be here to coach you. Guess that didn't work out. Go Blue, Jim Harbaugh. Now, the first thing I did when I got this note, actually, if I'm being honest, the first thing I did was text it to my best friend, because she's a lawyer, and I was like, is this gonna hold up? Which she said at the minimum he's gonna have a really compelling essay that he gets to write when he applies for school. But then the next thing I did was Google Jim Harbaugh. Because even though I had been to a bunch of Michigan events, I was always sort of on the periphery. I was the plus one. I was the one who went with my spouse because I thought it would be fun. But all of a sudden, when I got this note, I was in it. Now I had a personal connection. I was like, I want to buy all the merch. I want to do all the things. I actually called the alumni department and said, hey, I didn't actually go to school at Michigan. Maybe I can go get a doctorate there one day, but I'm pregnant right now. And they were like, yo, weirdo, TMI. Like, you can just write us a check and join the Alumni Association. We don't actually care if you went here or not. But I saw that Jim Harbaugh does a lot of stuff like this. A lot of outreach to fans, even when no one's looking, even when he doesn't have to. And I know many of the leaders at your institutions do that as well. One of my favorite things that I saw once I started following the team more closely was this picture that the team tweeted out of a bunch of kids and a few adults dressed as Coach Harbaugh for Halloween. And they tweeted this out, congratulating all of them on attacking Halloween with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind, or some Harbaughism like that. How does every person in that photo feel when this happens? The exact same way we felt when we got that note in the mail. Like, their story is connected to the team, to the school. The best marketing doesn't cost anything because it's about the way you make people feel in those everyday moments.